What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 2 of the Road to High Stakes Poker, and in this week's episode we actually ran a lot better than last week. So you're gonna see in the compilation some 50 NL hands, some 100 NL hands. 100 NL is basically, $1 big blind for those of you that don't know. Also, we're gonna have some hands where I made some, questionable plays. Not exactly questionable, the plays are very, very much on the edge. So I myself have questions about those hands. So I'm really interested to know your guys's, you guys' opinions. You can leave them in the comments. So yeah, first off, we're gonna have a hand that is 200 big blinds deep where we flop a straight. Right after that, we're gonna show the compilation of the biggest hands of the week. Then we have a 350 big blind pot where we actually have a full house. So I want to talk about that hand. And finally, we're gonna look at a pretty interesting spot, blind versus blind, where I made a bluff on the river. And I think I made a little bit of a sizing mistake, but we're gonna get to that, at the end of the video. So yeah, without further ado, guys, let's get into the first hand, which is here. Yeah, we got king queen off in the cutoff. This guy in the hijack opens. He's got, we're playing 50 NL here, so he's got 200 big blinds, which is, deep. So our 3-bet naturally goes a little bit bigger. We make it 8.5 big blinds instead of, the usual 7.5 that we would make it if we were 100 big blinds deep. Everyone else folds, this guy calls. And we flop the nut straight. Like, no better flop for this hand. This guy checks, and I decide to go for a bet. 200 big blinds deep, you could mix, like everything is a mix. Even if you have a set here, if you have the nut straight, you're gonna probably see some checks in order to have your checking range protected or whatever. I decided to go for a bet though because, he's gonna have a lot of hands like pocket jacks, pocket tens, pocket nines, jack 10 suited, whatever, 10-9 suited. So I think we just have to get value. It's, I'm not really worried about being balanced. I'm more worried about driving money into the pot because we got the best hand possible right now on this board. So I decided to go for a bet, and we get the dream where we get check raised. And now my instinct tells me to call because I don't want to get him, to make him fold, a very strong hand by seeming too strong. Also, I believe this guy is a regular, so I believe he's gonna have bluffs. So he's sometimes gonna check raise a hand like ace queen, for example, or maybe, I don't know, queen 10 suited, something like that, turn it into a check raise bluff because he's aware of the fact of how scary this board is. So yeah, he goes for a check raise and I decide to go for a call. Turn comes the 6 of diamonds, which doesn't change anything. He bets again, and he bets pretty big. He bets like, 2/3 spot. I decide to call again. Maybe this is now a point where I'm making a little bit of a mistake. Maybe I should fast play more, especially since we're deep. A lot of scare cards could come on the river. So maybe this is a point where I need to fast play my hand, because if he's got, top set like pocket jacks or something, he's gonna have, a really difficult time folding. But I decided to just go in the moment. I don't know. Really quick. That's why I said I'm gonna have questions about those spots that I decided to review this week, because they're, thin spots like this where fast playing could be better. I am not 100% sure that calling is the best option. Anyway, we get an 8 on the river, which just makes us, the complete nuts. Now, if he had like a hand like queen 10 suited that he bluff raised on the flop and bet the turn or ace queen, he's now got a straight. He bets half pot, and, with the immortal nuts, we just stick the rest in. But he actually folds, which is really weird for me. I don't know what he had. For me, if he had a queen here, he's not folding for, just 33 more dollars, which is half pot. So he doesn't have ace queen, he doesn't have queen 10. Maybe he had like 7-8 on the flop, 7-8 suited. He check raised with a straight. And, 8 on the river makes him value bet his 7, but fold to a raise, because every time I raise I have a queen here. Like, I don't believe I'm finding bluffs here for just, a click size. So yeah, maybe I should have fast played. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, but now let's get into the compilation of the biggest hands of the week. So yeah, guys, as you could see, we ran pretty well this week. Like almost all of the pots went our way. We won almost all of them. Um, let's continue now with the second hand that we're gonna review in this video, where we got pocket nines in the big blind. The cutoff opens. We are 170 big blinds deep, something like that. We defend pocket nines by calling, and we flop a set, which is amazing. We go for a check, with a whole range. This guy bets 1/3. Now, most of the time I'm gonna check raise here, but sometimes I'm gonna call because sometimes when people, this board involves some big betting. So he's gonna have like 75% bets, even some over bets on this board, I believe. And when he bets small, usually means his range is weaker. So I want to give him a chance to hit something with the weaker part of his range that he's gonna bet 1/3 with, and continue barreling and maybe check raise the turn, or even go for a check call on the turn and check raise the river, give him a chance to bluff also. So I decided to call this time. Turn comes a 10, and now I remember in game he snap checked back on this 10. So as soon as I checked, the 10 turn, he snap checks back, and the river is a 4, so we got a full house. So now I start thinking about what part of his range does he snap check back. Well, he definitely doesn't snap check back with king jack, jack 8 suited, the straights. I believe he bets those like always. So I also forgot to mention that this guy is a recreational. I have him tagged as a recreational player. So I start thinking about the hands that he snap checks back, and it seems like most of those hands are king 10, jack 10, 10 8 maybe some ace 10, mostly a 10, or maybe a weak queen, something like queen 6 suited, something like that. So I decide that against this range he's not gonna be reopening often enough, and even if he reopens, he's gonna reopen for like half pot, and if I check raise, he's gonna fold to a check raise. So I decided that the best way to get money in is to just overbet myself with my full house with pocket nines. So I overbet and we get raised. Now, this is a really interesting spot because usually when people, especially recreational players, when they raise an overbet, this is never a bluff. This is a really strong hand. But now I start thinking about, okay, the snap check back on the turn means he probably had a very showdown heavy hand. So I got stuck in this mindset that I don't know if I'm exactly stuck, in this mindset, but I started thinking about, okay, maybe he's got a 4, maybe something like ace 4 or king 4. I do believe he's also gonna snap check back with 4-5 sometimes, but I don't think he's raising 4-5 against an overbet. I believe he's just calling. So I started thinking about, okay, if he has ace 4 or king 4, he's gonna have a really, really difficult time folding to, another raise. So I decided that ace 4 and king 4 are a big part of his range. He's gonna have trips with a good kicker very often, and because he's a recreational player, he's gonna have a really difficult time folding trips with, top kicker or second best kicker. So I decided to stick it all in with my full house. I forgot to mention, he could have also checked back. Sometimes recreational players do this with top and bottom pair. Queen 4 of diamonds. If he opens queen 4 of diamonds, queen 4 suited, he could have snap checked back that. There's only one combo of that, but it's still, a part of his range sometimes maybe. So I decided to stick it all in, and we get called by pocket tens. So we lose to a bigger full house in a 350 big blind pot, 345 big blind pot, whatever. I really felt bad after this hand because I don't know if I'm right in my way of thinking. I don't know if he really raises my overbet with ace 4 and king 4. I believe he should do it in theory, but I don't know if recreational players do it or if they get, scared because the board is, 3 to a straight. There are full houses possible, so Maybe if he just calls with ace 4 and king 4, my raise is actually bad here. My jam with pocket nines. So yeah, this is another, questionable spot. Okay, and now for the final hand. This is a blind versus blind hand, 100 big blinds deep. We raise 10-9 offsuit, standard raise. We get called. Flop is jack 3, deuce rainbow. We could go both ways here. Check or bet, both is fine. I go for a big bet this time. We get called. Turn is a king. So now, my way of thinking is, okay, by big betting here, he's obviously I filter his range. He's got stronger hands than usual. He's floating less ace highs. But he's still gonna have some ace highs with backdoor flush draws. He's still gonna have hands like jack 6 suited, for example, some weak jack. He's still gonna have 3-4 suited, deuce 4 suited, ace 3 suited even. A lot of hands that are gonna fold to a second barrel, especially on the king turn, since the king turn is a really good card for my range actually, for betting big. After betting big, he folds a lot of his king highs. But I could have, king 10 suited, king 9 suited, king queen suited for betting big on the flop sometimes. So I decided to barrel again with my gut shot with 10-9. We get called again though. And now the river is an ace. So on an ace river, I believe he's gonna have a really difficult time calling with king 10 suited, for example. He's gonna have a difficult time calling with jack 8 suited. Maybe he, calls the flop and calls the turn with that. He's gonna have a difficult time calling king 4 suited or king queen suited even. So, or king queen offset. So I believe he has a lot of hands that he's gonna have a really difficult time calling with. So I'm really a fan of bluffing this river, especially with my hand. As I could still have ace king, I could still have pocket aces, I could still have pocket jacks, I could still have pocket threes, pocket deuces, queen 10. Like I have a lot of value hands. But maybe exploitatively, I think I should size down, because what I did was I went all in on this river, trying to get the maximum fold equity. But I believe that against a pot size bet or maybe a slight over bet, he's still gonna fold all those hands that I said I'm targeting to fold. But the problem is I think he's still gonna have queen 10 here. Like, it's not impossible for him to have queen 10, and he's gonna call with that. He's still gonna have 4-5, which gets to be a straight, and he's gonna obviously call with that. He's still gonna have pocket deuces and pocket threes. The sets. I believe even though I go for an all-in, he's still gonna call those sets. So I believe that by using this size with a bluff, I lose the maximum against the parts of his range that he's gonna call with, and I also don't get more fold equity. I believe that if I bet something like $22 here, I'm gonna get basically the same amount of folds that I'm gonna get with an all-in. So I believe exploitatively I should have sized down here. But yeah, it's really another thin spot. We got called by 4-5. So yeah, as I said, $22 here. He was probably gonna jam against the $22, and we could have saved 40 big blinds. So yeah, guys, those are the hands for this week. I'm really excited to announce that next week we are gonna have some live play stuff. So I'm going to a tournament that I'm gonna try to record as much as I can from. Live poker tournament. So yeah, next week, guys, expect some kind of a vlog, or maybe I'm gonna record some hands from the casino where we go in big pots all in. We're gonna try to make it as good as possible, the video. So yeah, guys, stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like the content, if you want to see more like this, and let's continue on with the road to high stakes poker.